Avinash, I'm audible properly?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Rajiv. Good afternoon. And before we start, I'll give you a little bit brief about our today's speakers. Meanwhile, our other startups are also going to join. So, to start with Mr. Deepak Verma. Mr. Deepak Verma is a seasoned business leader. And before joining as domain lead of agriculture at Open Network for Digital Commerce ONDC, he was heading the institutional large account sales at Hyperpure by Zomato. And he has also worked as head financial solution and non-perishable sourcing at Zomato Kisan Hyperpure. And before that, he has founded two startups as well. So very good combination of a professional and an entrepreneur. He's a IIM Indore alumni and CFA from USA. Our second speaker for the day, Mr. Avinash Kumar. He's also a seasoned professional with 13 plus years of work experience. He is currently outreach manager of Agri domain at ONDC. And now I think we can start the program. We have good number of startups with us now. So I would request other participants to kindly keep your mics on mute when we are running this program. So without taking much time, I would request Mr. Deepak and Mr. Avinash to take over and educate our startups about the ONDC, the processes, and how the startups can take benefit of this platform. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rahul. Before start, I would like to understand the profile of people on the call. So these are all of the participants are startup, or there are some incubators, educators, or what is the mix of the people who are on this webinar?
The majority are the startups, and there are 4-5 participants who are from our partner institutions, who are incubators who are running the similar scheme, RKY Raftar.
Okay, and these startups are on what kind of startups are there? These are centered around some particular domain, or
Majorly from the food processing, as means food processing and product startups, as we were conveyed about the profile of the startups to be who are having some product which can be listed on ONDC, and if anyone else is there, means they can ask their question when we have this Q&A.
Yeah, and one more question is most of these startups are tech-centric startups which have their own product website, or you guys have a product which is like some food product or some technology product, or it's a does e-commerce, do we have a vote or some, maybe by smileys etc. you can show thumbs up if how many of you are already into e-commerce, some kind of.
There are many startups, Deepakji, who are already having their products and listed online or also on different platforms as well as on their own website as well. So yes, but there are still many who still do not listed on such platforms, or they're still seeking some guidance.
And okay, so let me first start and then I'll probably allow me 1 second.
Meanwhile, startups means can give a one-liner introduction in the chat box.
Yes, so those who have raised their hand, they can speak. So OCB Cakes, Prabhu, you guys can speak up. You have raised your hand.
Yes, sir. We are. Hello.
Yes, please go on.
Sir, we are selling our products online on our website and other e-commerce websites also. The product is millet-based bakery products and millet-based bread and millet-based muffins and dry cakes. We are selling online. In other platforms, e-commerce platform, we are selling millet-based cookies. That is our hot selling products.
Great.
Hi,
So,
sir. This is Prabhu. And yes, sir.
yes, Prabhu, please speak up.
Yes, we are also having an e-commerce website and with experience.
Okay.
But still, we would like to know more about the ONDC and utilize those opportunities as well.
Okay. So I'll just start. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the introductory presentation which we have on every Tuesday, 3 to 4 p.m. We have this call which you can attend. It's a weekly call wherein you get to know what ONDC is. So I will cover this content briefly and would like to get more into a question answer mode. For those of you who want to attend this again, I'll share the link of the weekly call so that you can go to this presentation in detail in that call as well, right? As of now, I will try to keep it brief and would like to get more into question answer than a presentation itself, right? So, why ONDC? Goal of the ONDC? ONDC is a government promoted Section 8 not for profit company with sole objective to increase the e-commerce penetration, right? So, if we compare to Indonesia, China, which are at 25-30%, India is at 6 to 7% of e-commerce penetration. The objective of ONDC is to
Sir, your mic is off.
You're on mute.
hello.
Yes,
Am
please
I
go ahead,
audible?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead,
Yes.
sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So objective of ONDC is to increase e-commerce penetration. Another problem we want to solve in today's e-commerce landscape, the share of smaller towns, smaller sellers is less as compared to larger cities and larger sellers, which we want to address. We want to create a e-commerce system which is more equitable, both in terms of type of sellers, type of categories, as well as type of geographies, right? Um, some of the challenges in today's e-commerce is there are limited number of platforms. If you see food, there are two. If you see cab booking, there are two. If you want to buy, let's say, clothes, there are two, three platforms, and most of these platforms have their own terms. As a seller, the only option probably left with you is to create your own application. In that case, you find challenges in user visibility. A user cannot access hundreds of applications and platform. And today, why no new platforms are coming? Because it's an expensive affair when you talk about building your own e-commerce. Let's say you want to build another Amazon, Zomato, that will need a lot of investments, right? Okay, we'll come to this. We'll come to this later. I'll just first take you to this sheet. Okay, so what ONDC is, right? So a lot of people think ONDC is a e-commerce application or a platform where you can list and sell your products, right? While it is true in some sense, but not exactly in the way we speak, right? So ONDC is not an application; it's a network, and by which that we mean compare that with UPI. So UPI is a network, right? But in order to access UPI, you need to log into some application, which is, let's say, Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, Bheem, or any of the bank's application, right? So when someone want to access UPI, they don't go to an application called UPI. We go to application called Google Pay, Phone Pay, etc. So what is UPI? UPI, the entire UPI ecosystem is a network of various UPI applications, which are all interoperable, right? So if you have Paytm, I have Phone Pay, doesn't matter. The transaction will go through. So similarly, in ONDC, we are creating a e-commerce network of buyer applications, seller applications, and service applications. So what this network will enable, if as a seller you are registered on one application, you will be available to buyers on all the applications on the network. Similarly, as a buyer, if you come to network through any application, you will be able to see all the sellers on all the available applications. And same is also true for options such as logistics. So if logistic or any service which is available on network, that service is available across all applications, right? So this is the way network looks today. So there are some 24 buyer applications, 75 seller applications, 18 logistic applications are available. So how it is working today? If someone is, let's say, logging into Paytm and looking for a food item, let's say biryani, then those restaurants can be registered on. If you see the below list, right? So buyers are buyer applications are for buyers, seller applications are for sellers. So sellers will register on seller applications, buyers will register on buyer applications. So if either buyer on Paytm looking for biryani, and there are, let's say, restaurants which are registered on YouEngage, Growth Falcon, Magic Pin. So as a buyer, I'll be able to see all these options. Now, who will deliver this biryani? So on the right side, we have mentioned 18 logistic application. So there, some of them will be intercity, some of them will be hyper local. So relevant hyper local application will deliver this biryani. Now, how this network is working, right? So for this, we need to understand two core concepts of ONDC on which this network is based on. One is unbundling, second is interoperability. Unbundling means typical e-commerce journey involves engaging with buyer, engaging with seller. So for example, in Uber, there is a driver application, there is a consumer application. In Zomato, there is a user consumer application, and then there is a restaurant application, right? In Amazon, there is a seller application, then there is a consumer application, right? So first thing is unbundling. In ONDC ecosystem, we have buyer application separate, seller application separate, logistic application separate, which doesn't mean that you cannot have both the sides. If you are a running marketplace, you can have both buyer as well as seller application. So in the list which I have shown earlier, you could see Magic Pin on the both sides, Snapdeal on the both sides, because they were the running marketplaces. So they had a seller side of business as well as they had a buyer side of business. Second important concept is interoperability, which makes all these components talk to each other, right? So irrespective of where on which application a buyer or seller is, they can transact with each other, right? And those of you who are familiar with technology, this is nothing but being enabled by something called protocol. So protocol is standard set of rules which enable various technology systems to talk to each other. So for example, in email, if I send an email from ondc.org email ID to your Gmail email ID, and we may be using different technologies that email goes through. Similarly, internet is based on a web protocol. Your mobile telephony is based on a mobile telephony protocol, which enable different technologies to communicate with you. Similarly, what ONDC is? ONDC is a e-commerce protocol which enables these different components, these unbundled applications to talk to each other. Okay? So this what we have shown pictorially. In today's e-commerce world, we have platforms which don't talk to each other, and every platform does everything. In ONDC ecosystem, you will see unbundled platforms wherein their buyer side will exist as a separate application, seller side will exist as a separate application, logistics side will exist as a separate application, and they will be talking even with each other using ONDC protocols, which will be open, hence resulting into something like this, which will enable any seller application to talk to any buyer application and vice versa. What other thing this enables is this kind of a scenario in ONDC ecosystem. Someone can just have a buyer application and that buyer application can talk to other seller applications. So for example, today Ola has launched food on the network and they haven't onboarded even a single restaurant. So they only have a buyer side application and they are making restaurants onboarded by Magic Pins or Falcon You Engage available to their consumers because both these applications are part of network and following ONDC e-commerce protocol. And these orders are being delivered by various logistic companies. Same is also true for seller applications. So out of these 75 applications, many of these companies are POS companies, product companies, which have a product, a catalog. They don't have consumers. So they have come on the network as a seller application and people on other e-commerce applications and the buyers are talking to them and transacting. Same is also true for logistics. So this is what ONDC network is. And we have, as I said, 24 buyer, 75 seller applications live, and some 17,000 different entities are at various stages of integration. Some people are coming just as a seller, some are creating their own applications. This is little technical. I will skip it for the time being because, uh, in nutshell, this picture depicts what we do beyond protocols, because e-commerce is not only technology but also commerce, right? Where you need to maintain some basic checks and balances like payment, reputation, order experience, etc., which we manage as via host of services which we manage centrally. Uh, this is and these are the product and services which are right now live on the network and are going live soon. So today, food, grocery, home, kitchen, electric appliances, metro, fashion, health, wellness, agriculture, beauty and personal care. These are some of the categories which are live. B2B is also live on the network. In terms of services, mobility and logistics is live. General services are being made live. We have also launched financial products a couple of days ago, where you would have seen media reports saying, "Oh, now get loans on the ONDC network." Right? This is demystifying ONDC, what ONDC is, what ONDC is not. So ONDC is not an application platform or product. It's a network made from various application platforms and products. And hence it is a capability and infrastructure using which people can build their business. ONDC doesn't support single model. As I said, it's bringing multiple nodes onto common network. Hence, every application can have their own rules. So it supports infinite models. ONDC is not a central intermediary, and we don't get any data, etc., because that's the use of technology protocols. So when you call from one mobile on a 2G network to another mobile on a 5G network, you don't need an intermediary in between. Or when you are sending an email from a email server based on technology X to someone on technology Y, you don't need an intermediary, because protocols which are open set of standards take care of that. Similarly, in this case, because of open protocol, you don't need an intermediary. Last but not the least, we are not a regulator. We are a market and community-led initiative, and rules and regulations of e-commerce, whatever are applicable, otherwise are applicable on the applications which are available on the ONDC network. So I will take a pause here and would like to hear first set of questions, and then probably we'll move ahead.
So participant, please raise your hands, then we will allow one by one so that there is no communication gap here. Please raise your hands. Yeah, Shamrendra, please.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I have a question. I think you rightly, we are selling on ONDC. We have done few sales. We also changed from one platform, seller platform, Craftsvilla, to now Global Linkers. So I have a question. I think because while we were at some point of time when we were at Craftsvilla, we were getting good sales, right? It was happening. But of late, I think there is a drop in sales for I don't know what obvious reasons. What is not working, we are not able to discover. At the same time, you rightly said that once you are on one particular seller platform, you will be available or visible to all the buyer platforms, right? So just we wanted to assure, because we never got, there are few buyer platforms where we have never got a customer from. So how is that it is working that we keep getting orders or requirements from only one platform? Like earlier we were getting it from, what do you call, I just forgot that name, one particular platform. So it was not coming. So what is that? Is there anything which we are missing if at all we had to promote our products across different platforms?
So two things. First of all, for any network related technical issues, right? That why I'm not visible, why I'm visible, please work closely with your seller application, right? There may be two reasons. One, everything is all right, still you're not visible on the buyer applications. So the seller application, there's a channel, a formal channel through which seller application can raise to all these buyer application why my seller is not visible. Second, in some cases, there may be some tech glitches at the seller application and maybe version difference, etc., etc. So in the both cases, you should first of all, if the seller application is not responding, change that application. Second of all, they should be able to help you answer these questions, because as an individual seller, you will not be able to, let's say, reach out to Paytm or anyone. And at the from the Paytm send or applications, buyer applications, and also it will become difficult for them. So we have a formal system of of ticket raising between applications, where various applications can raise service tickets to each other and raise questions that why this is happening, why not happening. Secondly, as a seller, you can check yourself that in which applications you are visible and which you are not visible, and take further action. Thirdly, in terms of demand generation, I think that you still have to do. So one fun thing is you should be visible on Paytm, right? So first that question needs to be answered, that why I'm not visible on particular buyer application.
Yeah,
Second,
that's what my
huh,
that is where my question was, that we were
yes,
visible on Paytm. If at all
yes.
there are 25 buyer application, how come our products are not visible?
So,
Is there any
so you
technical
have to
glitch?
probably you have
Huh.
to check. So you have to. There are two things. One, all the buyer applications may not be active in all the categories. So not every buyer application is selling everything. For example, Namayatri is today only doing mobility, or Ola is only selling food, right? So
Okay.
from your seller application, figure out which. Even if you go to our website now, ONDC uh, network participants tab on your website, you will find what all applications are, which application is promoting which category. So
Okay.
and these are all user, the application decide where they want to work, right? So this
Okay.
link is not coming. Okay, this link is there. So if you go to network participants tab on network, you will say right now what category they are supporting. Let's say you are in your grocery, and Paytm is showing grocery, and then you are not there, then you should raise it to your seller application.
Okay. So is the only way we can raise a ticket for such technical glitches or limitation is only through the seller application. We
Yes, your
can't do
seller
that.
you can raise to Paytm, but how will they handle it, right? So the technically,
No, my
even
question
for
was, can we raise a ticket as a seller, or the only thing we can do is to raise it to our seller application, and they in
through
turn raise the ticket.
I'll suggest through seller app. You can write emails, etc., but the chances of faster resolution is through seller applications, because they have access to technical dashboards and technical channels, formal channels through which they can raise these
Okay.
questions. They can also check at their end before raising ticket की problem कहाँ पर है. There may be some
Okay.
issues at the application and they might not be sending issue. कहीं पे data missing होता है, कभी-कभी कुछ bug होता है, etc. That is also a case at times.
Because
So yeah,
this particular change, the only thing what is we are worried is this change from platform A to platform B is not helping us out. What we did was in the right interest, saying as if we will do better, but instead it has backfired, and that's where we are worried. How do we get this resolved?
yes. So you have to be sure that the platform which you are switching from A to B, right? That
Yeah.
is, that is the right platform, and they are doing what they are doing. So you can again switch back to others. But because all
Okay.
these 70 applications will not be equally responsive, equally tech capable, etc. These are all individual entities and maybe
Okay.
following different tech stack.
Okay.
So you
And
have to be cautious in choosing.
okay, okay. And can as a seller can be with two seller platform, or it is only one? As
You
far as I
can
know, it has we have to be only at one.
you can be with multiple seller applications, but that will actually so many buyer applications then will stop showing you, because then you will be coming in duplicate in the queries. So that will not help you in any way. So my
Okay.
suggestion is, if you don't find your seller application responsive enough, you should explore
Okay.
others. So now there
Okay.
are multiple. Some in grocery, at least 10, 15 marketplaces are there. So you should talk to them, understand, and the one looks promising, you should only go ahead with that.
We are dealing in
Okay.
organic groceries only, and that's where it has not taken off the way it was expected, and that's where we are
Yes.
slightly trying to figure out how do we go about it.
Yes. So talk to your seller application.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shamarinder. Next is the Aqua Doctor.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. My question is, in ONDC, there are different platforms where product-based and service-based product also might be there. So we are basically into fisheries sector. We are into app type of solution. So we want to work with you together in that fisheries sector domain for the service promotion part. So how it can be done?
I don't understand the question very clearly. Can you try to paraphrase it?
Yes. So we are basically into fishery
That
sector,
I
and
got.
we are now coming
What
up
you
into
are?
a service platform.
Huh?
And we want to connect the service platform services with ONDC in a bigger, platform to work.
Okay. So let me answer that question a little differently. So there are two ways you can join with the network, right? One way is to become a seller on an existing application, which is the one way you can connect to the network. Second way is you can yourself become an application on the network, right? Even as a single seller, you can become a. So today, Domino's is directly on the network, right? McDonald's is directly on the network, while there's a marketplace also, which is Magic Pin or you engage through which multiple restaurants are coming. So as a ONDC, that flexibility is there. In terms of use cases, some use cases are there available, right? If you go to so if you attend our so we have a technical call also on every Friday, which will give you even on our website on tech resources, you will find links to GitHubs, etc., where you will find which all protocols are available, right?
Okay.
So let's say service protocol is available, then you can take up that journey and build that application. What network will ensure once you build your application as per the ONDC protocol, then that application will be interoperable with other applications who are into that particular category, right?
Okay.
Now, initially, there may be some chicken egg kind of a problem wherein unless you have a service, there will be no buyer. And unless you have a buyer, there will be no service. So in those kind of cases, we do some kind of orchestration and help people of similar interest to time their thing. So for example, today in farm equipment renting, government is building an application by the name of Farms, which will bringing common service, custom hiring centers online. At the same time, applications like Tafe, etc., are building a farmer application using which farmers will be able to blog this. So if you're looking to enable any new use case, please reach out to us on the email IDs. I have dropped down my colleague's email ID. There may be two situations. One, the protocol is set of rules. So the way a burger will be sold versus the way Agri produce will be sold versus the way a service will be rendered online. The workflow will be different slightly, right?
Okay.
It will not be
Okay.
same user journey in three of the cases.
Right.
Similarly, behind the scene, your protocol, the common language will also be different, which
Right.
on term will be understood by different applications. That is what protocol means. So there can be two scenarios. One, protocol exists. One, even the protocol doesn't exist. So when protocol doesn't exist, we'll work with you only to figure out whether that use case can be adjusted into some existing protocol with some tweaking, or we have to create
Right.
a fresh one. So for example,
Right.
our soil testing protocol is very similar to pathology protocol, right?
Okay.
So we had a pathology was live. We were looking to enable soil testing, and we figured out soil testing and pathology technically are more or less similar. So
Okay.
in any new case you are looking to enable on the network, please reach out to us. We will
Okay.
we'll figure
Sure,
out
sir.
a way how to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next question, Shivani.
Hi, very, very good afternoon. So my question was like, I am selling Indian superfruit products and in the form of corporate gift box. So like bears, Indian jujube bear, ke upar we have done, jamun ke upar we have done. So like, do you think like we can promote the products over ONDC and bulk buying system can be done, or it would be individual buyer
No, so
like
as
other?
a so ONDC network has both B2C and B2B applications, and you can use them. So it's a technology, right? Technology will not decide what will sell and what will not sell. That's largely a function of marketing and consumer demand. What technology will enable? What I said in B2C is also true in B2B. So today, some 4 applications are live. Another 5-7 applications are in the process of getting live. So once you make your product live on the network through any of the B2B application, that will be available to buyers across all the B2B applications which are there on the network. Right? Then how do you generate demand? That you have to figure out. It's a highway. You have to decide the driving yourself. It's an access.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Answer for promoting the product or advertisement that we have to do self, or we should take a third party for registering on ONDC, or self registration is better
Registration
for
के
them?
लिए again, that has nothing to do with marketing, right? For registration, you can either build your own application, you go to any of these. So the link which I have shared above, which has network participants list, there you will find application listed. You can talk to them and get registered, right? They will have some features, some commercial terms, right? If you want to build your own application, I I will say there has to be some good enough reason, because tech cost is not that cheap today. Building your own applications is not worth it unless you have some strategic reason to do that, right? So getting on live through an application is one part. Then marketing is a totally different thing, right? You have to figure out how do you do that marketing. That will probably be beyond these applications. So today, most of the D2C brands do their marketing on Instagram, right? Or
Yes,
uh,
sir.
of BT, below the line marketing, of the line marketing, some branding board, banner, holding, right? What e-commerce does, e-commerce makes your it's a market mall on which your product has been placed. So what will happen if someone will look for your product, they will find it. But how do you make people look for your product is the question which remain as it is, even whether you go online or offline. That you have to figure out. But what has been
Okay,
solved,
sir.
that
Got it.
if you have done a marketing and someone is looking for your product, so ONDC has come up with a seller QR code, right? What it does, you may be today available on 5 buyer apps, tomorrow on 10 buyer applications. So on your digital marketing, you can also push your QR code, which is a buyer app agnostic QR code. So what will happen? What is the problem? With CTA is a problem. Click through, right? Let's say you have posted a very good post on Instagram, which makes me crave for your product and I want to buy it. Now, where do I look for it, right? So once I want to buy it and you are on ONDC and let's say I have a Paytm and I search for your product, then I will find it and I'll be able to place an order. Right? Without this, even if I want to buy it, then I'll have to restart my journey on how. So how is taken care by e-commerce, not the basic need generation.
Got
Yeah.
it, sir.
Next
Okay, sir.
question.
Thank you so much, sir.
Any more questions?
So that while we are waiting for this questions, can you also briefly tell us the process of registering on this platform for the benefit of the people who are not that tech savvy?
So I think so. The two things, right? One is to register with ONDC as an application, right? That's a tech integration part. So Avinash, you can take that NP portal thing, but that is relevant for people to become an application on the network. In order to become a seller on an e-commerce application, right? I think every application have their own journey. So there's an application by the name of NStore, which has a totally WhatsApp-based interface. You send a hi to them, and then they take you through. While My Store is an application which has a purely web-based journey. ShipRocket as an application has a totally offline journey where they seek your information and your on an Excel sheet and help you onboard. So that's the beauty of ONDC. So when you want to register on Amazon, there's one method, right? Now on ONDC, all these 70 applications have defined their own method, right? And only way to experience that is to go talk to them and go to their code. So many of them have created a very user-friendly journeys to register. Yeah. Avinash, you can take them through the NP portal registration part, which is only relevant if you want to become an application yourself. So for example, Aqua Doctor may have to come through that route. But anyone who just want to sell, they need not to register on NP portal. They can straight away go to seller applications and register themselves. I can show you where to find seller applications.
My savvy my interest would be in having this seller interface thing, because
Yes, yes.
most of the startups, basically there are many startups who are at very early stage and they may
Yeah.
not be able to afford the cost of developing their own seller
Yes, yes. So,
platform or like that.
this is our website, right? My page is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so on this, you will see ONDC participants. Here you will find network participants, right? Click on this. Network is not working. Network participants. Yeah. Here you will see integration stage, which is live, advanced stage, initiated integration. So since we want to onboard, we will select live here, right? Now role, I want to sell. So I will not select buyer application. I will select seller application, right? And let's say I'm looking for B2C or B2B. Let's say I'm looking for B2C sale, right? Inventory sellers are those who are selling their own stuff. So I will look for marketplaces, right? So now I have got this list. So now there's an application by the name of Edible, right? This application, if I click here, I will see this application is supporting B2B, beauty and personal care, electronics, fashion, furniture, grocery, these all the categories, right? Then I further scroll right, they are into B2C, they are a marketplace seller network. This is the person, Vaikoma Ningemicha is the contact person there. This is the phone number and this is their email ID. And they have also given their web link, right? We mandate everyone to provide a Spock name number. Web link is not necessary, but this is their web link. So if if this satisfy my need, I will talk to this person, understand their process, and go ahead. Right. Similarly, this is a all tech labs private limited. Again, they are only in grocery. B2C again MSN. This is the number name, etc. One of and then many of them have also given their web link here, right? Uh, so, for example, one I am a little. So my store is someone I've seen. So let's say I decided to go ahead with my store. I talked to them. So they are into multiple categories: electronics, food, furniture, etc. Right? In these company, I know they have an online process, right? So if I go to my store, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
So
yes, sir.
on my store website, they have a button called Sell on ONDC. You click on that and then follow. Register as a seller, then give number, mobile address, right? You are a GST seller, non-GST seller, and then log in. Right? Similarly, then let's say we say what is this? Idea Masters is there, right? So many of them will have a purely online flow, but I will still recommend everyone to talk to these people before registering and understanding, because the questions which were raised by the gentleman in the first question, you have to work with these applications closely. It's not only about registering, even in your journey thereafter, right? You will need their support, not only in terms of troubleshooting, in terms of everything. I mean, they are your e-commerce partner for that matter, right? So digit. Let's try this. Chevalier is again. Join the digital. Now, these guys are seeking a lead now only, right? Then they will probably call you.
So, sir, I wanted to understand, you are working here as a connecting partner. That's all?
Yes, so we are the owner of the network. Like
Yeah,
NPCI, in
yeah.
case of a UPI, we are not an application. So, uh, let's say as a tea shop owner, you want a UPI QR code, right? So that your QR code, the Paytm may come up with a sound box. Bhim may not come up with a sound box. Paytm may have your phone pay may give you a QR code with your shop's photo, etc., etc. So these kind of value-added services, these applications have done. So these, what we are managing the network, right? Because all these applications, this network should seamlessly work. They should be, well, ultimately it's e-commerce. So they're also supposed to adhere to SLAs, product quality, complaint resolution, etc., etc., etc. So our largely work is to ensure that everyone who is supposed to do whatever is doing that properly, right? So
Right,
if you say
right.
you have a complaint against the application, you want to raise that application, that complaint can be raised to us, and we may take action against and may kick someone out of the network or may allow someone to join the network.
Right, right. So you are keeping a check, an ethical check over all the
Ethical,
registered
yes,
participants.
ethical, operational, performance related, SLAs, delivery tat, fill rates, etc. Everything. So we keep
Oh,
an eye on what is the kind of fill rates are coming from which applications, etc. So that the overall health of the network remains in check.
okay, great. Thank you.
Dr. Shubhanil, you have a question?
Thank you so much. I've got a very specific question. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. My question is, will I be able to reach international sellers in both B2B and B2C platform through ONDC?
So, so export as a protocol has been enabled on the network. It is still not widely spread out. So today there is
Okay.
one buyer application by the name of Proxtera, which is live in Singapore, right? And as a
Okay.
seller application, I think SignCatch is one which is right now live on export side.
Okay.
Trade India is another one which is integrating that. So in times there will be many more, but right now there are limited number of
Okay.
participants on export side. But technically, yes, theoretically. So my store, which I mentioned, they're also integrating on export. So the beauty is, since it's a unbundled ecosystem, so any application can actually integrate with multiple protocols and enable multi. So today, my store is enabling B2C sales for their sellers. Now they are complying with the B2B protocol. Then with the same interface, they will be enabling their sellers to sell B2B. Now, when they comply to export protocols, they will be enabling their sellers to sell to export markets using the same interface. And which application implement which protocol when is up to these applications.
Thank you so much, sir. I'd appreciate.
Thank you.
So I
Shamrendra,
have a question. This is
yeah, yes,
Shumaduti from Delta Fisheries. The thing is, hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. The thing is, in case of exports, specifically on a B2B basis or a B2B2C basis, how do we verify the backgrounds of say a new importer, say who is based maybe out of South Asia Pacific or say Europe or whichever place, like
So
whether he
there,
was previously blacklisted or not, or how do we get these verifications from?
so it's export, as I said, no, it's still in the nascent stage. So right now, the Proxtera application is owned by Singapore government, so they take care of that to some extent. At the same time, I mean that the entire verification framework is being worked out. So today, what ONDC does, it's a technology, right? There are other business service providers which can come as so the way logistic is coming. So in physical world, let's say there are certification agencies, etc., service providers. Those have to latch into the network, and you can then use their services. The way a logistic company services are being used in a burger order, the verification agencies, etc., can be used in an export order.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah, Shamrendra, you have another question. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. I have another question. I think I am just searching through your website, seeing the list of network participants and ecosystem participants. So, what is the difference between the two, network participants and ecosystem
So
participants?
that application and your logistic applications, which take direct part directly into the network, are network participants, which take parts in the trade, right? Ecosystem participants are other service provider. For example, banks which are providing escrow services, right? It's an ecosystem partner. Someone who is providing a rating framework is an ecosystem partner. Someone who is providing, let's say, another value-added service which helps the network become richer, but is not directly part of the transaction. So any transactional, so like logistic, buying, selling, other core transaction features are network participants. Ecosystem participants are all other ancillary services which makes this system more robust.
Okay. And the second part of the question is, I think Protean, I meant NSDL Protean, I think they are what network participant or they are
They
ecosystem participant.
can be both. So Protean is now network participants also, but then someone can be on all the lists. There's no restriction on that. So when you go to ecosystem participants, you will see their roles will be different, right?
So that's where it becomes confusing for a seller, right? I mean, as
So you
Vishnu was
need, as
referring
a
to, because
seller,
uh,
seller, you need not to go to ecosystem participants. For seller, for you, the relevant page is only network participants.
no, so I was just scouting through that page. We can see enough of buyer application participant and seller application participant in agri and grocery domain. But that's
Yes,
where I'm
yes,
little confused. What is holding us getting things across, right? I mean,
yeah,
despite having so many facilitators,
yes,
what is
yes.
that not working?
Is that you have to figure out. I mean, that has to be figured out. You, whether you have, so they can be, as I said, right? The issue can be at multiple level. The first issue can be you are not visible at all. Second issue can be you are visible but not prominently visible. Third issue can be you are visible but buyers are not placing an order. They are buying something else. Fourth issue can be that buyer application doesn't have a traffic. So that issue has to be investigated.
So is there a way we can check the visibility part, whether what all
Log
platforms they
in,
are
log in,
visible?
log into buyer application and search for your name.
Okay. Thank you.
So if you go to ecosystem participants, there are technology service providers. These are the guys who provide technology services like IT companies which help other people build their applications.
Okay.
Reconciliation service providers are companies which are providing reconciliation as a service, because in all these e-commerce applications, a lot of reconciliation is needed, right?
Correct.
Because there are multiple costs. Then settlement agencies are one which actually help these applications move money from here to there, right?
Hmm.
Then there are online dispute resolution service provider. These are the companies which come in when there is a dispute between a buyer, seller, or an application, right?
Hmm.
Then network participant account providers are the banks which are providing a type of escrow account to all these applications.
Hmm.
Then ONDC e-gift card providers are the companies which are providing gift cards which can be implemented by these applications, and these applications, rather than giving a payment option, can also give a card option to these, then implemented certification agencies. This is new.
Okay.
Again, these are again tech companies which helps you get your technology certified. So these are none of these you will find related to buying or selling. None of the ecosystem participants will be about buying and selling.
Okay. Okay. We'll have to scout. Thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, go ahead, please, Mr.
Yeah,
Das.
thank you very much for sharing those information on NDC, because particularly for a startup like us, it's very difficult to understand, no? For starting the journey on our ONDC. Thank you very much for that. And my question is, as a seller, like right now we are having on our aquaculture industry, and we are having a aquaculture inputs to sell. So there are multiple applications on the ONDC sites where we can combine with them. So we can connect with them, all of them, to sell our products,
so
or there is
on
a protocol only one or
no,
two
no,
we can connect.
no. So on aquaculture side, you will not find many applications because aquaculture will come
No,
as a agri
actually,
input.
yeah, on a
So
agree
you
based on, right.
so you can go to Edible. Today, Edible is live, Ninja Cart is live, and Dehat is live. So only three applications are supporting agriculture inputs today. You have to connect with any one of them.
So
Edible.
we can connect any one of them, or we can connect three of the. Let's say there are three of them are
Yes. So,
available.
but
So we can
three.
connect all the three, or we can connect only one. I
You
mean,
need
there is
not.
any protocol,
No,
any
no. You
protocol there,
you
or
you you can connect with all of them, but connecting with all of them will hamper your user experience. Then on
right,
the buyer side, let's say your organization name is ABCD Fisheries.
right,
Then a buyer will see three ABCD Fisheries in their application. And God forbid if you have difference in your catalog in three applications, then a buyer will see three different
three,
listing of your, right? Which you don't
absolutely,
want to do that. You don't want your buyer to get
absolutely
confused.
confused,
So
absolutely.
ideally, you should log in with only one application. I mean, it's a free word, right? You can log in with many, but you will not get any positive benefit by doing that.
Right.
Because if you are on any one seller application, you should be available on the all the buyer application who are active in that particular category.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Somadyuti Bose.
Every line same है. I can.
Yes, sir.
एक आएगा क्या आएगा?
Hello. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, I did ask a question. I was there, like, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any more questions? Further, if you need, I mean, if you have any further queries, you can reach out to me, my colleague Avinash. Right? And
आधार कार्ड लेते हैं ना, आधार कार्ड है के सबका स्कैन करनी. So if there are no questions, I think we can close this session today here. Mr. Deepak and Mr. Avinash have shared their email IDs already in the chat box, and you can reach out to them for any query you have with respect to the ONDC network. And other than that, if still anyone has any question, they can reach out to NIAM also. We will connect you with the relevant person at ONDC who can solve your problem and can help you in resolving that. Thank you so much, Mr. Deepak and Avinash, for your time and taking out time from your busy schedule for this webinar. Thank you so much once again.
so just one more thing, anyone who is involved in agriculture inputs per se, like that fisheries, etc., then do reach out to us, because most of the applications, so for grocery food, you need not to come to us because some 20 applications are there, right? And more or less all are same, right? But if you're looking to, let's say, sell services like Aqua Doctor gentleman was saying, or some agriculture inputs, some unique products which doesn't covered into grocery per se, right? Then please do reach out to us. For grocery, my suggestion is just go to that list on the website which I've shown you. Call all these guys. Those who don't pick your phone, don't go with those applications, because when at time of acquisition, if they are not talking to you, you should not go ahead with them. But trust me, many of them are very forthcoming, right? And you should be able to choose. As a policy, we don't recommend anyone. But as someone mentioned, right, you can change any day your application also. If you get into a bad application, don't worry, you can change it any day, right? For if any issues, you can reach out to us.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. I think the message is loud and clear. And please adhere to these guidelines suggested by sir. All startups, thank you so much for joining in. We are closing it here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.